pay attention to one hand instead of two. But yeah, the panel when you audition for Youth Speaks is intense. They all sit there, kind of like y'all are sitting right here, and they just frown at you. What's your name? Where are you from? How did you hear about Youth Speaks? And then you bust your poem and they're like, It's alright, I went home feeling like a badass anyway. I was sick, yes. And I just moved like 5 seconds before that. Anyway, I'm very excited to be here tonight, so thank you. The first word I learned was this. No short stack letter combo of M-I-L-K, no runaway vowels of baby book hearsay, nothing commonplace. Just one tiny clenched fist and a pissed off look on my face. The first hand I held was my own. Sewn together in the mellow swim of a sea turtle stroke, my snarl broken over tiny teeth, thin lips that never spoke a word. I was not hearing, but I heard the fingers pointed in my direction, listened to the stares, shot like blanks from all sides, watched the clench on my mama's jaw, stubborn, steadfast, cradling her pride. Until I was 3, I wrote like a freight train, barreling through the alphabet jet set, soaking up strains and variations, and never letting them out. I developed a pout, letters coiled underneath my tongue, strung up against the back of my teeth, sweet and hot. Until one day, a Sunday, years later, they exploded into 4-letter words, suburban tags, and metal dumpsters and mailboxes. My finger on the can, branding my town to maybe more than this hand-me-down understanding of sound and silence. As I shaped the words I'd curved for sight, not speech. I think I want to be an artist, I said aloud at dinner one night, frightened by the response that never came. And they both glanced up, my food danced up. Oh, you will grow out of that. My mama would sign, hands lined up, reminding me of all the things her daughters would do to prove we were just as smart, just a part of this regular old life. You'll be happy to have your voice, she'd say. You'll be grateful for your ears someday. So I punched them full of holes, hammered music into them, clenched my eyes shut, and pretended not to hear. I interfered with my mama's plans. We had our places, our game faces, our staircase races. She was rule maker, I was rule breaker, and until I turned 17, I was her mover and shaker. I moved out when the insisting began. She twisted off wish lists of ist opportunities. Why don't you be a scientist, psychologist? And when I thought feminist, she signed realist, and I pissed off, slammed the door, shaking the house and moving her to tears. So I left, and I opened my ears, ready to clench my fears in life, my hands in other ways, pick on other prey, disobey, pretending not to know how to use the new words I learned, the ones my mama couldn't give me, but that would set her free. Funny, oddest. Now there's words you don't hear every day. A-U-D-I-S-T, a pretty typical personality where you talk over people who have a language. Pledged to walk all over the backyard of a culture whose American roots outshoot your foggy idea of heritage, where you fix people that aren't broken, where you think that stories about failed mother-daughter relationships are failed only because one of them is deaf. It's a good thing my mama couldn't hear. That all this everyday accompaniment was just a whole lot of silence from the government, an encore of heads turned, refusing to learn of the poets and the teachers, the faces and the features, the accents and the trials, the resistance, the denial, the inventory of stories calling deafness a handicapped exotica. Well, I got news for you, friends. This right here, this is Deaf America. See, now I use my words to make you listen. This right here, this is education. This is conversation. We are two bodies with too much distance in between. You want to talk about lonely? Enforced isolation, I'll tell you what it means, because I am what I've lived and you are what you've seen. And if we don't start sharing our stories, the nightmares and the glories, if we don't start pardoning ourselves for wanting to stand up and speak out, shift shapes and drop doubt, then this is all it's ever going to be. You there, here's me, a bunch of confused faces and a whole lot of silent space in between. So here, I'll start. When I turned 17, my house was a submarine with the occasional clank of a deaf activist upset threats to do something. When the world was saying, you can't be anything. It's not that my mama thought I'd fail as an artist, pale in comparison to wild-handed brushstrokes and folks raised on crayons. It's that she recognized the familiar clench on my cheek, saw the streaks of leaked tears, felt weak when she didn't know the first half of the ist she wanted me to be was active. She reacted when I found all this pent-up anger a mystery, because she knew the hardest part of living this life, of learning her history, wouldn't be the stares or the taunts, the noisy nonchalance, wouldn't be sneaking by using hands as fonts. It would be speaking it.